Did anybody on my recommendation start watching Love After Lockup? Fuck you guys.
I'm sure plenty of people did, but not here.
I listened back to my recommendation. I was like, "What are you doing? You sound like a crackhead." Like I guess I was just like extra stammery that night. Like I don't know what. I wasn't really a sales pitch that should be successful.
Tell me about it. I have no idea what you're
It's just a
about.
great reality show. It's people who are pen pals with prisoners, and then they're getting out and they're going to marry them, and it's just insane, man.
Does it often work out, or what's the batting average on that?
It's chaos. It's just chaos because even the people that work out, you're like, that's not working out. And then most of the time you're like, get out of there, girl, get out of there, and then like the girl will just get out of there. You're just like, get that Chiron. Give me that Chiron that says that you are out of there, like that you didn't go back, or it's just. But it's like various combinations, very interesting.
It's a very slim amount of people that actually, like the population that goes to jail over and over again is something like 3 to 5%. So you're watching something of like it is truly just a slice of life. Like you will not see that sort of relationship dynamic again.
The big headline of the show seems to be that even the sociopaths, because you're like, boy, you're going to be knee deep in sociopaths on this show. Really, on both sides of the prison yard, like the people who are going to subscribe to lovers from prison, et cetera. No wrong answers, no heroes, no villains. But you're
villains.
Depending on your definition of crime. I mean, because it's not a show about what they did to go in prison, but you're definitely watching them like, oh, okay, you're a bad boy.
The dude that shot up a house full of cocaine and then asked his girlfriend to put a knife in her vagina is a villain.
But the interesting thing...
That was strangely specific.
The interesting thing is just there's a... it's just interesting to me that like the big elephant in the room on the show is okay. Like none of the people, including the prisoners who claim to understand that this happens all the time, but they still feel this emotional attachment. No one in the show seems to understand that if you're in prison, your entire world is a different context, and that your value system is different, and that therefore the people to whom you say I love you, and let's make all these plans for the future, you're not necessarily a liar or a Superman. You're what you are is a person whose understanding of life is completely different from when you're going to get out. But they just keep repeating. It's just people over and over again.
Well, think how important and how good or terrible your love letters would be if you had 24 hours a day for 6 years to think about writing a love letter to somebody.
They also very typically they all talk about how they do 10 of these at a time, and they don't necessarily equate that with disingenuity, with dishonesty. Like the people on the outside are familiar with the idea. Well, I met this person on this site, so the idea that I was the only one is not. It's not a realistic expectation. But more importantly, that was the courting process, was winnowing it down allegedly to just you. But then the person will say in a talking head, "Well, I got 2 over here and 1." It's like the interesting thing to me is just like picturing people as like vegetation. Like if you're a human and you're placed in prison, and then these roots come out, these cilia, these like little hairs, and they're just looking for any kind of water, because then these stories will end up with a lot of people going back into the joint because they'll violate their parole or something, and as soon as they get in there, they're calling again, and it's really hard for the codependent people on the way out, because on the outside, because they just went through this whole reality show relationship where they finally figured out that that relationship was but then as soon as they figure it out, the person's back in prison and giving them exactly the sugar they need, which is calling them collect and asking for money. And it's like this, it's siren call to them, not because they love the person that much, but because they love the minimization of risk that prison represents for them. And I'm so fascinated by that they're outside and they're less free romantically. They're so scared of being hurt and left that they at one point
They need barbed wire and walls.
they need barbed wires around the other person, not because they're sadists, but because they're that terrified of getting hurt. And it's like, oh, you're terrified. And everyone's like always scratching like, oh, you're terrified of getting hurt, so you're with a convicted felon. But that's how terrified you can be of rejection.
If you went to prison, Dan, let's say you were doing like a big federal stint, and what would your like role in prison be? Like, what clique would you run with? Like who
I'd be the fixer.
The fixer.
No, I'd be a screaming lipstick man. We all know what we would be in prison. We're the 60% of the population that will never go to prison. Like we're terrified of the idea. We celebrate in our jokes and comedy and movies how everyone on the inside is getting raped, and the institution likes it that way. And because we're all thinking, oh my God, some of these. There was a woman who got out, and there's a scene where she just got married, and she's like, she pulls up outside the prison that she was in. And they're taking pictures of her flipping the prison off. And there's a guard out on the perimeter. And he's like, what are you doing? And she's like, just taking pictures. And he's like, don't get my face in it or something like that. Like it's sort of like the prison equivalent of trying to shoot a movie inside a Brookstone. But it's like he's 500 yards away and he's like, just keep your camera. He said some bibble babble, and she's like, "What? I can't hear you." He goes, "I assume you're an ex-felon, so take your pictures and get out of here." Like that. He's familiar with the fact that this road that he stands there and watches, basically, it's just a regular thing that a Camaro pulls up, and a man and a woman get out with a 6-pack and pose, flipping off this place. So here's the thing. I'm watching that and going, honey, don't. Dude, I wouldn't flip the place off. I wouldn't be shocked to find out through the mail a week later that I violated a finger law. And that's like, it's like the way that we employ our penal system is simply to say, are you capable of fear? If so, fear this. And then we're all afraid, and then we have no respect for the people on the inside, and the people on the inside are treated like animals and whatever. Sorry, it's the end of the show. It's a Love After Lockup. This time, watch it. My recommendation was good this time. It was 20% more fluid. I'm telling you, watch one episode of season 1 of Love After Lockup and tell me that you didn't want to watch the second episode, and I'll be fine. Then I'll accept that.